There is a Swahili word, or there is a Sheng word that is called kuomoka. Uh, kuomoka is rich or famous or both. Now, there's a time, especially when Kibaki became the president, and I was moving from a newsroom to another newsroom to see if my stories could be aired or could be written. What had happened was when Kibaki took over, there was a meeting between people who used to work in disciplined forces, and since my story had appeared in the nation, Daily Nation, we agreed that we support the TJRC, the Truth Justice Commission, so that people who are doing things like those who are doing abduction right now could come out clean. And I tried going around several uh, media groups, but I used to get the same reaction. Things have changed. Today, I usually get a call, a telephone call. Somebody calls me and tells me that I'm from this or that media group, and we want to interview you on this and that. Nowadays, they do that. But previously, I would really go from one media house to another media house, and I'll tell you how it used to happen. So things vindu vichenjanga. There was a time I went to there's a time I went to Nation Media. No, not even Nation Media Group. All media groups. You'd go there, you talk your stories and whatever. And you see, most of my stories were second line or even third line. By second line or third line, I mean, I would go there, like what is happening today. Let's say some years from today, somebody comes and says, then the newspaper would ask you, were you involved on anything? No, I was not involved, but I talked to somebody. I talked to somebody who was involved. Then they would say, why don't you call that person so that we talk to that person? You are the second or third line. If that person is still alive and sane, then we would rather do that. So it used to be a very sad situation where I would leave that place dejected and so on and so forth. Then that is what used to happen. Then one time I went to the Nation Media House. I wanted to talk about Hit Squad. To talk about Hit Squad, I was given a reporter called Walter Menya. Now Walter Menya is the one who is the topic for today. Is how I came to know him. So I went and told Walter Menya. This Hit Squad, the last time I heard of them was Rivayala. So I told how they operate, they do whatever. He listened to me and said, were you a member of the Hit Squad? I said, no. But I know who a member of Hit Squad is. He said, why don't you then introduce me to that person? I said, I know. So we made an arrangement. He asked me, can you convince one of them to directly talk to me? I said, yes. Then I introduced him to Sergeant Kilunda. I introduced him to Sergeant Kilunda. Then I and Walter Menya, we discussed the scope. When we discussed everything, actually, what Walter Menya was telling me was that he wanted to find out A, B, C, D. You know, anything about outside there, it's usually not of interest to him. But reporters would be very polite to you. They'll let you. That's when you find that you talk to a reporter in 30 minutes, and whatever he records takes 5 minutes. He would be very polite not to tell you that you are talking things which are not relevant. He would even allow you to talk things which are related to that. For example, if you are an abductor or a hit squad, they will tell how about your training, what did you get in school, your background information, just to know you, to know what type of a person can be recruited there. So we discussed the scope, and then he told me to go and discuss with Kilunda. I went and discussed with Kilunda the scope and whatever. I said somebody from the Nation Media House is interested in baby blah 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 blah. Kilunda said he's willing to talk to Walter Menya. Then we agreed. We agreed on the place where that was 2010. We agreed that we meet at Kenyatta Market. Walter Menya came. He came with two people. One was a cameraman and another one was a sound man. Walter Menya bought meat, and I hope you know about Kenyatta Market meat. I won't tell you. We ate, just having a normal discussion, binding, becoming used to each other. After we had our meat, Walter Menya said, asked if anybody would want any drink of any type. And of course, me and Kilunda were teetotalers, or we are teetotalers. We don't take alcohol. So he said, okay, order any drink of any type. That is the type when you order the most expensive, the ones you hear. Skiaga, even people who take alcohol, in such a case, you don't hear him or her ordering for a beer. They order for the most expensive drink. So we ordered for juices. There are these fruits which are in what do we call Del Monte? Yeah, we ordered Del Monte and then had it. We just had a normal discussion. Then Walter Menya then sent a signal to the two people, the cameraman and he sent a message to the cameraman and the sound man. They left us with the equipments and walked around. He said, when I need you, I'll flash you. So these two people went and left us alone. And that is when Menya wanted us to talk everything and everything. We had all the time. So we discussed from A to Z, everything, even anything that we felt is remotely connected to that. And then we even covered everything. And Kilunda even went to an extent of giving so many examples of their operations here and there and whatever. Of course, Menya had determined that I have to be there because according to their profession, it would have been better if I was there. There are even other occasions when Menya would have concluded that I should not be there. But Kilunda, the way I know him, is that he would not have been very free with the pressman. The pressman this time being Walter Menya. So we started discussing, we discussed anything and everything. After 2 hours of such palaver, Walter Menya suddenly stops the discussion. Then he briefed us exactly the things he wants. He said, since he has the whole story, he said, you have covered this thing, 20, we have discussed 20 topics. Now I want us to discuss topic number 3. I want us to discuss topic number 8. I want us to discuss topic number 50. So that he chose the little things that he needed to whatever. We said it is okay. Then he said, Can we now call the cameraman and can we call now the cameraman and the sound man? Kilunda then interjected. He said that what he has said, Walter Menya should know what to take. He should separate the chap. What do they say? He should separate whatever he wanted to take and leave the majority that he didn't want. So it was up to him to know what was good for recording and what was not good for recording. And then Walter Menya asked him, do you want me to use your official names or do you want me to use your nickname or what? He said, no, I don't want even you to quote me. I said, Kilunda was a former sergeant. He said, Afande here can cover for me since you know the whole story. Walter Menya said it is impossible to do that. It is impossible to use me when he is there. So it was a bit impossible to have that story carried over because if Kilunda would have agreed, and I think Kilunda is a nickname, please treat it as a nickname, because in Kikamba, Kilunda is it an R or a bo. Anyway, this is a name that he used to use, that he was a sharpshooter, that he could not miss. So it was like the Wakamba. It was like the Wakamba used to, I think they used, correct me if you are a Mukamba, they used to use bows and arrows, and then Kilunda maybe it means an arrow, which means it doesn't mean, but I'm not a Mukamba, so that is why we are using the nickname Kilunda. Then the story ended there. The story ended there. He just called those people. We had a good lunch. We had Del Monte and whatever. But then the story just died that way because Kilunda would not want to be quoted, and Kilunda would not even want his nickname to be used, or even a source which these people can write a story and say, we had, even if they record you, there is a way of blurring your voice and your image so that nobody can trace you. But he said he wants to do nothing, completely nothing with the story. If it cannot be, if I cannot be quoted, then let the story end there. And Walter Menya said that it is impossible to quote me when the actual source is there, and he has talked to that. So the story ended there. Much later, the Daily Nation was interested in Muge's death. The Daily Nation was interested in Muge's death, and Walter Menya remembered. He was the one who was given that case. Walter Menya is the one who was given that case to follow it up, and then he remembered me and Kilunda. So he contacted me, then told me that we are going to meet such and such a place. As we were doing the interview, we didn't do it in one place. Nowadays, I walk everywhere. Nowadays, I do anything. But those days, I was paranoid and whatever. So, but something that Walter Menya noticed, he noticed that I had 2 pairs of clothes. He had 2 pairs of clothes, and I had 2 pairs of clothes. I had 2 pairs of clothes, and I had 2 pairs of clothes. So whenever we could change places, I'd go to the washroom, change, and dress in the other place. He noticed that. He also noticed that I had 4 different phones. One had Safaricom, the other one had Airtel, another one had Telcom, and the other one had you. And I didn't know that he saw that and recorded it. And again, as he was investigating the Muge case, which is in the, if you can Google, you'll find, if you are right, former detective on Muge's death, you'll find the story. Of course, when anything is to do with the police, you have to contact the police headquarters. So the then police spokesman, Kiraithe, was contacted and to give the side of the police on that case. Kiraithe confronted Walter Menya to say, are you sure he was a cop? Walter Menya rushed to Kilunda again and said, is this fellow, is he a former police or something? But then we later found out the truth. We later found out the truth. I mean, no, it's not that we didn't later found the truth. We later gave out documentary evidence to show that I'm a former police officer. Sorry for the slip of the tongue. I said we later found out the truth, but the truth is we later produced documentary evidence to Mr. Kiraithe to show that I'm a former police officer. When Mr. Kiraithe saw that, you can even see from the newspaper he's saying that I did bad because when a police officer comes into government secrets, there are ways of handling that. You don't go to the press. Yes, that is the Official Secrets Act, which says that whatever you get here and whatever you see here, you leave here. But what happened is that, yes, I'd committed a crime of going against the Official Secrets Act. But if they arrest me, they'll be acknowledging that the names of the people whom I said had killed Bishop Muge. So that is what happened, that they could not turn against me. They were unable to turn against me, and the issue was recorded. The purpose of this video is to show you how I first met Walter Menya and how it ended up in a mega story. Thank you and God bless you. Amen.